Hello and welcome to this is episode 5 of the SMPTE Media Technology Summit preview live stream. As you can see on this slide, the MTS, that's the abbreviation for the Media Technology Summit, is happening the 16th through the 19th of October in Hollywood, California. I would like to thank you for joining us. You can see we have two speakers with us. The first is Mr. Mark Zorn, and he is chair of the SMPTE Hollywood section. Mark will be speaking about how current technology trends influence our creative choices. And David Grindle is SMPTE's executive director and an all around good guy. He is going to talk about what's new at MTS. I am Joel Welch. I was going to say, I had a slip. I'm with Macklin LLC. Thank you for joining us, everybody. As you can see, David is in the center. Mark is to my right. And gentlemen, I wonder if you would give us a little bit of your background, what you do, how you got here, and maybe a little bit about what you're going to talk about.
Thanks, Joel. My name is David Grindle. I'm the executive director at SMPTE. I'm in my second year and still really excited to have this opportunity. This is my second Media Technology Summit, and it's an opportunity in our second year with me as executive director to let the team that has created this event really have some fun and listen to our attendees from last year and provide some new opportunities and some exciting learning, some of which has been curated by our membership globally, and in particular, learning that's been curated by Mark and our colleagues that are working locally in our Hollywood section.
Thank you. And Mark?
My name is Mark Zorn. As the graphic said, I am the chair of the Hollywood section for SMPTE. And I've been in the industry for about 20 years. I've worked for all of the major studios and the indies and post-production houses as a production technologist and consultant. And I'm currently working at Marvel Studios, which is part of Disney. And I am the head of content protection, and I work with all of the productions to help them choose the right tools for their work that are also secure, because my particular studio has some requirements that other studios don't. So that's probably the easiest way of saying it.
Somebody's got to protect the superheroes, Mark.
That's right. Thank you. I do want to inform our guests that questions are encouraged, welcome, and please type them into the chat of your social media platform of choice, and we will put them on screen. David, you are our first speaker. So what is new at the MTS?
So Media Technology Summit this year, we really tried to listen to the feedback we received from attendees. And there are some things that were well within our scope of being able to improve upon. We are happy to be returning to the Loews Hollywood and the Dolby Ballroom complex. So if you're in Southern California, which is really easy to get to and accessible. But we've changed some structures around. So some things are surprisingly simple to make sure that if you attended last year, we had some noise bleed from one session room to another. Now we've managed to isolate them one from the other on opposite sides of the ballroom and take advantage of that space better. But we have really tried to go out of our way to create some spaces that are interactive. We have our exhibit areas has been branded the Solutions Hub. And while that may sound like just a marketing move, we really tried to work with our exhibitors and say, no, let's focus on how we're solving people's problems. how does your product really solve a problem that our folks have on a day-to-day basis? And along with that, we've got learning that's open to everyone in the Solutions Hub, where people can go a little more in depth on the solutions they have to offer to folks. We have an entire area called the SMPTE Spectrum that we're really looking at the color science of digital cinema. This becomes more and more important every year in our industry. And we're looking at traditional color science with digital cinema, color grading, reference displays. But a huge shout out to our on-set virtual production team as they're moving into the color management of virtual production. They've got some things that they're presenting, some conversations, so you can engage with those groups and become part of that. And then lastly, come on, folks, it's an industry event. We have to have a water cooler, watering hole kind of place to gather. How we have missed having the SMPTE color bar. Just one of those moments. And this year's the 45th anniversary of the modern color bars, which is outstanding because the color bars were originally done as a test pattern for analog equipment, and they've outlived their initial use because they're still a usable and recognizable standard every day. And so the color bar is a place to come up and meet and chat with folks. It's really kind of exciting. And so along with that, one of the things that some of our attendees have said is, how do I pick what to go to? And so our conference committee has put together sort of 3 tracks, so to speak, as a guidance. You're not connected. Whatever you pick is your choice, and you can stay with it as long as you want or not. But for folks who are there to really meet people, they have the track they've labeled Earn, Enlarge an Already Robust Network. And it's really seeking people who are looking for those networking events. How do we make sure that we get them all in there so that you have the opportunity to meet and expand your network? We have another one, the Gain Real On-Site Work Experience, the Grow track, is really focus and make sure that you get directed towards the hands-on sessions, the practical use case sessions, and even some sessions that are off-site that we'll take you to on Thursday. And then finally, the Visit Innovative Experiences with us. The View track is really a bit of both together, because some of the innovative experiences are in how we're doing our network, and some of them are in what you're learning. And these are suggested ideas to help somebody who may be at their first time, or maybe wants to think of the symposium in a completely different way. But it's really exciting. We're trying to use the space well, and use the space in a way that encourages you to connect with your colleagues, and not just the colleagues but try to encourage you to connect with it and expand your network, expand your circle of people you can reach out to. Because I think that's one of the most important parts of attending any industry event, is to be able to expand your network and meet somebody new that may be coming into the industry, or maybe someone who's been in the industry for a while. So, but I also want a huge note of thanks to everyone who submitted papers and session ideas, because we had a great number to choose from. And we have, I think, a really nice variety of learning to go about. And some of that has come from our members right here in the Hollywood section. So I'd like to throw it over to Mark to talk a little bit about what that programming has been like.
Well, so I've been on the conference committee for the last 11 or 12 years. So I've been involved in planning the conference for a while, and I've seen it go through some changes, and that's I think it needed to evolve a little bit to kind of match where the industry was going. one of the things that has kind of changed about the organization over time is that it used to be a very small and elite organization, and as the industry has grown, as the world has grown, it had to become a public institution. So there's a lot that goes along with that. What we're doing for the conference is we're making it more inclusive, and as David said, one of the most valuable things is getting people in the same physical venue, talking about common topics, and then having very frank conversations, and the social aspects really kind of critical, I think, to people's success in the industry, whether you've been in the industry for a short time or whether you're more of a veteran that's been doing it a while. It's the social aspect is absolutely critical. Everybody's heard the old adage, it's not what you know, but who you know. Well, clearly it's part of both. I mean, you have to be good at what you do, but you can't be successful unless you also have the connections to be able to put it in place. And the SMPTE conference is a perfect venue for that, because you get access to people that you wouldn't in your day-to-day life. Does that?
Yeah, no, I think it's great, Mark, because it is one of the things people, I don't think, realize is that this really is a global gathering. We have folks who are here from all over the world, Europe, Asia, Australia. We're stretching SMPTE's presence and trying to work into the rest of the Americas and to our colleagues in Africa and the Middle East as well. And so having that opportunity to come together, when we start off by making sure that we have a track that focuses on networking, it is important. And that's not just to grow your career upward, but also to help you find new solutions to the problems you face every day. I'm excited that there are several new companies that are coming into the Solutions Hub. It's not just the same equipment that you're used to seeing every year, because what we've learned is that not only are we bringing in a diverse attendee set, we're bringing in an attendee set that are decision makers. And those decision makers are really important for the companies that are exhibiting during the symposium, but also for being able to agree to do a partnership, agree to explore some solutions together. So that is, I think, one of the really important parts that we're trying to highlight in the Media Technology Summit. So Joel, what's question number 2 on our list?
Question number 2. Well, you've described the attendees, but besides the exhibits on the exhibit floor, we have something else going on in the Emerging Technology Theater. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure. So you're referring to the technology showcase, and the showcase. What we tried to do is make sure that there's some learning opportunity out there for everybody who comes through. And lots of people have solutions to problems, and we wanted to give them a dedicated 10 or 15 minutes. Not just it's not a sales pitch. The idea is that you've got to show how you're solving a problem. What are you doing to make life easier for people in our industry? And that is, I think, one of the really important things that we have is the opportunity to learn about solutions. Because for some folks, while the science behind that solution is really important, they just need to solve the problem they've got today, or the problem they had yesterday. And so if we can focus on those times in a dedicated space where you can pay attention to a presentation, then we create a space where you can make a connection, maybe with a product or a service provider that you hadn't considered before. And so that's a good way for us to have a constant flow of learning. And just as our traditional room learning is curated, this too has been curated. So it can't be here, we're just going to give you some time, come up and pitch a product. We've actually got a team of people who are reviewing and looking at what they're offering. I think that type of rigor is something important in any SMPTE event, is that we're out there trying to make sure that the information we share on things is true information. And if you're looking at coming and you think to yourself, well, I'll just do a day pass, that day pass comes at a price because it also includes your lunch for the day, as well as all the learning sessions that are going on in the Solutions Hub.
And when you mentioned the review process, this is, as far as I understand it, one of the last few conferences that has such a rigorous review process. It's the last peer review conference, and those papers that are submitted to the program will go on to be submitted to the board of editors for
Yes.
possible publication in the journal. I think we have a question here. I'm going to bring it up on screen. It's from Russell. Are there sessions or events that would be good for those outside the tech portion of the industry?
Yes, there are. SMPTE is known, as Mark said, we have a history of really being the hardcore scientists. But we have to have a conversation that flows between the so-called artistic creative side and the technological creative side. Everyone's a creative in my book. But I think it's important that we have several of these sessions where we talk about how to use the tools that we're looking into, because filmmakers and storytellers, which ultimately that's what we're in the business of doing, even if your story that you're telling is last night's dreadful football game where the Bills lost, you need to know how to use the tools to tell that story. And we have to talk about that blend of creative artistic mind and creative technological mind. So you'll see, if you go on to SMPTE's webpage, SMPTE.org, in the upper left-hand corner, you can click on the link that will take you over to the Media Technology Summit pages. And you can see that there are several sessions on each day that really focus on communication between the science and artistic side of things, where you've got some things looking at film restoration. We've got, as always, I hate to use the two most controversial letters in our industry right now, but yeah, we're talking about AI and how it is used in our industry in a variety of ways. So there's quite a bit out there that really engages with you wherever you sit in the pipeline of creation of a piece of media.
Great. I notice something that pulls my eye in here is the SMPTE Spectrum. And it says this is a space dedicated to color science in digital cinema. That is probably technology focused, but color science, when we've done color science webcasts and things like that, it's been, they've been just the most highly attended events that we offer.
Well, color is really at the heart of our storytelling. And as we know, cameras resolve color differently. We add in virtual walls are resolving color differently. And how we communicate in colors really tells part of our story. And so I think that SMPTE's dedication to color science and how we're displaying, not just capturing, but manipulating, and even your reference displays. can cause something to be a very pleasant artistic experience, or it can create massive amounts of angst because two people in two different parts of the world are using two different displays and can't agree on what color something is. This is one of those challenges that we, the technical side of the media industry, have been capturing from the very moment we've been capturing media in its very forms. My favorite thing is to look at old black and whites and see color pictures of the sets and the garish colors they were using to get the varying tones of color that would resolve in black and white. We're still challenging ourselves on that at every turn. And so the spectrum area really gives us a chance to have these conversations and look at what's new, what's emerging, and even talk about where we're still trying to solve a problem that we've been wrestling with for decades.
Absolutely. Mark, can I put you on the spot for a second?
Yes, of course. Well, you can try.
Well, I asked this in the last episode, but you're in an elevator with somebody, and they're considering coming to the session that you're chairing. Why must they go? Why do they need to be there?
Well, it's I think yeah, I guess you did put me on the spot. Part of it is people's background, though. I mean, if they're people that have been in the industry for a while, they might want to find out what another professional's perspective is on the technologies that we use. If you're a student, and actually one of the things that we've tried to do is schedule this particular session on the student day, and really concentrate on people that have not been in the industry for a long period of time, and then get some of the industry luminaries to come together and talk about the technology, talk about how it influences their creative decisions, and give them access to people they wouldn't normally be able to get access to. And so, and ask the tough questions. So the reason to come is so you can talk to people and get their perspective on a subject that we dance around a lot, but we don't necessarily talk very frankly and directly about, which is, hey, how does the technology really change the way we make our stuff? So the way we tell our stories. I mean, just like David was saying, the technology is always changing. So let's take a look at the changes and let's see how it affects our storytelling.
That's a great answer for putting you on, getting backed into a corner. Thank you very much.
Well, that's why you invited me, so I was prepared.
Oh, great.
Well, and if I can add on to what Mark just said, the thing that I particularly enjoy is that it doesn't matter where you are in the industry. This is a place where you can communicate with those folks. You can, if you're new into the industry, you can engage with someone who's been around for 30 years and has a long title because they've earned it working their way through the industry and being creative with our technology. I think that's one of the exciting reasons to be there, is that it is truly a society. It is a community that you can engage with people at all levels and share ideas about things that often, let's face it, there are only so many dinner parties you can go to where we can talk about this stuff with people who understand what it is we're talking about.
Great. Yes, absolutely. And Mark had mentioned the session being on the student day, and in the spirit of transparency, Erminia Fiorino is feeding us information in the background a little bit, and she says that the student day provides access to the SMPTE conference on October 18th. That's the student day. And there's going to be lots of knowledge and networking, a guided tour of the Solutions Hub, learning about premier technical products in the industry and speed networking event. So I think it's important to have those students there. And so for professionals, what do you ask them to do with regard to the students? What's their role as experienced professionals, and what should they be prepared to do in talking to these students? And I know that's not a rehearsed question.
It's okay, because it actually kind of lays into sort of something Mark and I were talking about just before we got started. Engage with them. That's the most important thing. Because, I always say that we all want to retire, so we need to engage with the next generation to ensure they stay in the industry. But you'll be surprised how a conversation may lead to you learning that they've got some amazing ideas and interests that you want to spark and help move forward. Mark?
Yeah, I think one of the things that that we need to kind of promote a little bit more is that there are various kind of mentoring programs and student outreach and that sort of thing that SMPTE is with David's help and with my help, we are doing a lot more student outreach than we've done in the past. So we are actually trying to mentor students to come in. We're trying to inspire students from other subjects like the STEM fields to try and show them what avenues are available to them if they're interested in moving to media and entertainment, because obviously it's a technology conference, so we're interested in telling them what kind of technologies are relevant to the industry and what things that they can bring to us as well. So I think one of the things that we want to do is make sure that the professionals that are in the industry today either take on a student to help mentor or to get involved in the student outreach and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. This is an opportunity to engage, inspire, and help bring folks who are considering careers in the industry to really help them make that choice, make that decision, because it's important for them, not only, as you said, to be here, but as you said, there's nothing better than having someone who has little knowledge of the history and the background and such to come in and look at it fresh and come up with ideas that the people who have been working in the industry for so long may not see, have, or may not think of.
Well, but it's also issuing a challenge to the students themselves.
Yes.
And because we can only spoon feed so much of this to them without knowing what their interests are. So for the students that are watching now, come to the MTS and come with questions. Come with an idea of what you want to learn from the conference, because this is an opportunity the conference only currently happens once a year, but there are plenty of opportunities. Please come with questions. And I want to kind of put a plug in for my particular session, which is talking about the technology and the how it affects our creative decisions. Please come to my session and come with questions. One of the things that I don't want to give too much of a preview of the session itself, only because part of the fun is not knowing what we're going to talk about completely. But the general central theme is, hey, what are the technologies that we're exploring, and what do we do with it? And I've put together a panel that has people coming from different perspectives. I have a cinematographer, a VP of post-production, a chief technology officer, a master colorist, and an editor. So people coming from the production from slightly different angles, and they all have very strong opinions. And if we ask them tough questions, it's kind of fun to get them together and see how they fight. Let's be direct. It's kind of fun. The controversy is the interesting thing. You don't go to Indy just to watch them go around the corner. You want to see something interesting happen.
Very exciting.
That's the best part about getting engineers together. You can get 5 opinions out of 3 people.
Yeah, it's true. And one of the things that we always have a struggle about is when we get to the Q&A, we're trying to get them to actually ask a question rather than just offer their opinion. So if you come to the sessions, I mean, it happens every session. It's really funny because somebody will come up to the microphone and say, well, have you considered this? It's like, wait, you're supposed to be asking us a question. So,
well, but
so
with
come with questions.
What is kind of fun is that you do see the sessions expand out into the coffee breaks. They expand out into the social time. The conversation keeps flowing. And that's the exciting part, because if the conversation is flowing about the topics that we're talking about, that means that ideas and creativity is flowing. And whether you discover something new or discover a way and think, dear Lord, please, I don't ever want to do it that way. I'm glad it works for them. That's just as important. And that's, again, with presenters coming from all over the world, you're going to see new ways of trying stuff.
We have another question. For those seeking to network, what are some of the bigger social events we can attend?
Oh my goodness. Well, the biggest social event ends with the awards gala. But I think it's important, as I said, there are multiple coffee breaks and lunch each. There are multiple coffee breaks each day. There's lunch in the Solutions Hub each day for all attendees. And I think those are the really big opportunities, that and the opening night reception, that you get, again, the chance to connect with various people. And by making sure that each of the sessions empties out into a community break area, you again get to go back and forth. If you got sessions running and you want to go to both, which is, I often get this, why did you program everything I wanted to see all at the same time? Well, that's a very expensive algorithm that we have to pay for as a society. But my solution is find a buddy who's in that other session and share the information with each other, knowing that, of course, attendees will get access to all of these papers. And I think that's the important thing, is it's not just about the bigger social events. It's about all the social events, because that's where you start to really trade ideas.
I want to kind of add to that I know we want the conference and SMPTE to be the center of their world, but there are lots of specialty organizations out there that are talking about. There's the Colorist Society, and then there's the American Cinematographers. There's the Cloud Security Administration. There's tons of specialty groups out there. So yeah.
And but most of them have a representative at this gathering. So you're even able to connect with someone who might take you deeper into the area that you want to be in.
Maya has posted a comment to Mark. Says, Mark, I look forward to the Hollywood session. It's always fun, and it's exciting that students will get a chance to listen in and witness the interactions that happen at the MTS.
Yeah, thank you, Maya. I greatly appreciate the endorsement there. It is a lot of fun. If nothing else, there are so many people that enjoy being at the conference and having the opportunity to gather and talk.
I do have to say we are approaching the end of our time. So I'd like to give you two the opportunity for any closing comments you might have.
Mark?
I think we've really talked about what I wanted to talk about, which is, hey, come and participate, because this is an opportunity that I look forward to every year. I may be biased because I've been on the committee for a long time, but I look forward to seeing my compatriots in the industry and being able to talk to them and to the students and to everybody. So please come. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just want to close with pointing out, you may have seen some of our outreach that says technology is changing and so is SMPTE. I think it's a great opportunity to come in and not just see how we're trying to embrace a larger table of folks who work in our industry, but also to give voice. SMPTE starts with the word society, and we need your input as we build future conferences, future learning. We need to know what it is you're looking for as a professional at all points in your career, so that we can help build the learning that goes with that alongside our work in standards and our work that's going on in so many other areas. So it's a great opportunity for us to hear your voice in what you want your society to be.
Terrific. Thank you very much. David, Mark, we appreciate you speaking to us and letting us know a little bit more about the MTS, and hope that everybody listening and those that are listening to the on-demand video will register and attend. You see that little QR code up there in the right-hand corner. If you want to scan that, yes, thank you. Scan that QR code. It'll bring you right to the registration page. You can put in your information, and hope to see you there. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to our guests. Take care and have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Joel.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Joel.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, David.
Thanks.